G'day guys, welcome to Rumble's Fish Room. So we've hit a big goal, 4,000 watch hours and 600 subs. So we only need 398 subs as we stand to get monetized. I'm really excited for this. It's always been a goal of mine in the back of my head since I started the channel was to get monetized. So we just need the subs. If you could hit the sub button if you're not subbed, even if you could share it, that would be absolutely amazing. Then if you guys can think of a way to help me get those subs, drop a comment. The only thing I will say, I'm not doing subs for subs. I don't want to cheat getting subs. I want to do it like organically. Alright, enjoy the video. Good morning guys, welcome to Rumble's Fish Room. Well, it's morning here. I don't know if it's morning where you are. So we got our extra fibre yesterday. Shout out to my mate Grant. I'll just go get him a 4-pack of bourbon next week sometime. So I think that glass is actually thicker than the glass I'm using, the fibre I'm using, which it doesn't matter. It is what it is. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to finish cutting my fibre. I forgot the measuring cup. Yeah, I had one job last night, find a measuring cup. That's alright. We'll figure it out. I'll just run it at a weak solution if anything. It doesn't matter if it takes longer to dry. Obviously I don't want to run it too weak that it doesn't dry, but we'll figure it out. Wouldn't be the first time I've done it without a measuring cup. Which is, I think I just seen something. It might be too hard. We've got a measuring cup here, but we needed like a little 50ml cup. Look, there's an old catalyst bottle. Anyway, we're just gonna wing it. All those people that do fiberglassing are cringing in their seats. Don't worry, I'm cringing too, scares me, but we're here to do a task. We can't make excuses anymore. Anyway, so I'm gonna get stuck into cutting this fibre. I don't know if you guys can tell, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not talking very well. I don't really talk to people in the mornings. I just come to work and mime my work. I'm gonna cut the fibre and then I'm gonna start fiberglassing. Alright guys, so all the fiberglass is cut. We've got our backs, our bottoms, our back, our bottom, 6 ends, and then I've got a strip for the top rail at the front, but I don't know if I'm going to put it on. I'm thinking about just when I do the actual glass, the front panel, sliding the glass all the way up to the top, and then that front rail where I'm thinking about putting this, I could actually just have that covered in Sikaflex and it would be behind the glass, so there would be not much point in having this there. Sorry about that guys, bit of a mental blank there, mid-sentence pause. Alright, so I forgot the tripod, so we're going to walk around and try to find something to rest the camera on. I think there might be a little tripod in the cupboard up here. Let's try and MacGyver it. Alright guys, can you say overkill with me? Overkill. This is like a laser tripod. It weighs like 5 kilos. It's got some weight behind it. Looks like it's from the 1970s. I've never actually seen this come out of the cupboard since I've worked here, so that's how long it's been in the cupboard for. And there's a weird fitting on here. I think that goes into like the big laser, and we don't have a big laser, we have a little camera. So I'm thinking about just sticky taping my little light here. I'll show you. Take the camera off. This little light's got the quick release. I might just tape that on there, and that way I can still quick release the camera on and off. So let's do that, I reckon. And it's not sitting straight, it's sitting sideways. And it might need to extend this leg a bit. Or maybe if we go that way. I don't know. Anyway, I'm procrastinating, guys. I really don't want to do this. I've got to turn the compressor on because these need to be blown out. Can you guys actually see how much shit's inside them? Probably not. Alright, I'll be back. Alright guys, we did it. You're on the tripod. And look, we can shake it all around and you don't fall off. Alright, so we've got our really expensive stirring machine out. I think I'm definitely a novice at this, but from my painting experience, stirring is rule number 1. Alright, so I'm going to voice over half of this video, guys. Obviously with the respirator on, I can't talk in the video, and I want to inform you guys on what I'm doing. So I'm pouring 2 kilos of resin in. 2 kilos is my limit, personal limit. I used to do 1 kilo, and then I've worked my way up to 2 kilos. I would never go more than 2 kilos, I don't think, just because of how fast it sets and all that sort of thing. So then I'm pouring the hardener in. This is possibly the worst way I could do it. I'm using the weight of the scales, which you're not meant to use for the catalyst. You're actually meant to weigh it. So I don't suggest doing this at home. I was running it at a weak mix just to be safe, especially because it's quite warm. It's the middle of summer. So then the first coat, it's basically just like painting. You roll on. You go over everything twice. You want to make sure that there is absolutely no dry spots. That's quite important. And roll it with the resin first. I've done it where I have just put the fiber down and rolled over the top of both, and it is horrible. It's so much harder. It was a dumb mistake I made years ago, and yeah, I just can't stress enough about putting a really good layer of resin on first. And also, just quickly, when it comes to the resin, buy more than you need. Never buy what you think is the exact amount of the resin you need, because if you start running short of resin when you're fiberglassing, and then you try to start thinning it out and using less to try and get the fiber down, it starts going crappy. You want to keep the fiberglass as wet as you possibly, well, not as wet as you possibly can, but you want to keep it wetter than if you're trying to savor the resin. So you always want lots of resin. Never skimp out on the resin. That's my personal opinion. Alright guys, first layer is down. How was the voiceover? Drop a comment. Did I do okay? Alright, I'm going to have a bit of a break for a bit because I'm already shattered. I got fiberglass on my phone accidentally, which I was fully trying to avoid, and it was all because of something as simple as trying to skip a track. Alright guys, so I cut my lids, which is a bit of a sidetrack, but that's alright. I wanted to let the resin go off a bit. I wanted it to be tacky and not wet when I put this on. Now the glass is all cut there. One difficult thing is the bottom glass, the bottom fiber is one piece. Now that makes it difficult because if you look at the bottom, it's actually 9 foot by 2.5 foot, and I've got these tanks on their side, so I was a little bit worried about the fiber falling down as I was trying to glue it on, but I didn't have any issue at all, to be honest. It stuck there quite well. When I did my koi pond, I actually had one side peel down as I was fiberglassing, so I literally had to throw like about 2 square meters of fiberglass in the bin. So that has stuck in my head, and it makes me paranoid when doing anything else. So basically what had happened in the koi pond is the top was like leaning back, and it was enough weight to pull the sheet off when the sheet was wet. So then I've learned when you've got like a top edge, you want to roll that top edge over so it can't fall down. So basically I've just put the matting in place. You can see I start rolling, just keeping it really wet. I can't really stress that enough. I made a few mistakes when I first learned how to fiberglass, and it was pretty much all related to not having enough resin on the glass. obviously you can overdo it, but it takes a lot to overdo it. And also I'm running a cold mix of resin, so it's not so bad. If I was mid-winter running a hot mix with a lot of catalyst in it, and the resin builds up in the corner, there's more risk of the resin actually cracking when there's a pile because it gets so hot. But in this case, I'm running a really weak mix. It's probably about 24 degrees. I'm not too worried about any cracking in the corners. I'm loading the corners up quite a lot. So then you'll see, I'm going over it with a metal roller now. Basically, that's to get all the air bubbles out. You want to do the whole thing with the metal roller and not just the bubbles. I've done it before where I only metal rolled the bubbles out, but you end up with pinholes. So you want to roll the whole lot with the metal roller. If you go to your local composite warehouse, they will set you up with every tool you need as well. I've been to like 3 over my time, and all 3 have had great advice. So then I'm on my second barrel of resin here. I looked at how far I got, and then I realized that another 2 kilos wasn't actually going to get me to the end. So I mixed up 2.5 kilos, and I actually ended up being on the money, which is not necessarily a good thing. When I got to the last corner, which you'll see soon, I ran out. Well, I didn't run out, but I was on the edge. Like, I was scraping every last bit out of the bottle. And that makes me nervous because I worry that I don't wet it up enough. And if it's not wet enough, you're more prone to pinholes and bubbles. So anyway, it's just rinse and repeat. The second barrel is no different to the first. A hot tip is if you let it go off a bit and it's stuck down, you can actually Stanley knife the extra glass hanging over the edge, and it makes it much easier to clean up like the next day or whenever you clean it up. I didn't actually do it, but I regret not doing it already, even though I haven't gone back and touched them, but I know it's going to be a pain to clean up next week. So then this is that last sheet I was talking about. I don't know what other tips I can give when it comes to fiberglassing. It's basically, there's hundreds of YouTube videos on it that go into depth. I don't think I can really go into depth more than I have without any more knowledge. Like, I'm definitely not knowledgeable on fiberglass, but I've done it enough to carry my own weight, if you know what I mean. But just the main thing is keep looking for bubbles, and you'll notice it if it started to go off and you're going over it with the metal roller, you'll notice you're creating bubbles. I generally just start moving the roller faster and like quick back and forth movements to get the bubbles out. But it does get frustrating. You've got to stay calm because as you're rolling, you sometimes you start making more bubbles, and you've got to actually just keep persisting at it. And like I generally work from like left to right because the bubbles seem to pop up on the left for some reason, and with a bit of persistence the bubbles do disappear. It can get really frustrating, but you can see this video is actually on hyperlapse. This is 10 times speed, I think. So it took me over an hour or about an hour to do this tank. It is hard work, guys. If you have done fiberglassing, you'll understand why I put it off for so long. Alright guys, that's one down. Hopefully I explained it pretty well in the voiceover. Future me, past me doesn't know what future me said. So, the only thing left to do is the inside of that top rail, which I'm still on the fence about doing. If I am going to do it, I'll be doing that top rail on Monday so I can actually flip them over. That took a while. I hate fiberglassing. Alright guys, so I already filmed an outro, but then I thought to myself, how rude of me. Let's delete that outro and we'll finish this video properly. So we're here on a journey. I'm taking you guys to the end. I was going to end the video after I finished the first one, but we're gonna end the video when I leave here. So, tank number 2 is done. We did it, guys. I don't swear on my channel often, but thank fuck that is done. I absolutely hate fiberglassing. Now we just have to gel coat them. That's not a huge deal. It still sucks, but at least the fiberglassing is done. 1, 2, 3 tanks done. I'm out of here. I'm going to somewhere and I'm going to buy me a few kilos of beef ribs so I can put them on my smoker tomorrow. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please, please give it a thumbs up. That was one of the hardest vlogs I've ever made. Well, actually probably is, because the last time I can remember working that hard on something was my koi pond, and you guys weren't there for that. So please hit that like button, drop a comment, bit of a rally up. Shout outs to all the boys that have been commenting on Facebook, etc. Push today. And hit the subscribe button. We need 400 subscribers like yesterday. I've almost hit 4,000 watch hours and we haven't got the subscribers. I don't know if you guys can tell how shattered I am. I'm tired. Anyway, peace out. I can't peace the hands because I got full hands.